Trust the profits. It is the formula here, and we got a little something special for you here. We're trying something new out. We've got the Wolf of Oaklawn with us. Hold on, let me hit it. That's right. This is a killer crossover between Trust the Profits and Notorious OTB. Wolf, tell them about yourself.
Yeah. For one, I am agreeable. Also avoid confrontation. For two, yeah, man. Me and Barry Spears host a horse racing live stream podcast for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, the Notorious OTB. We do it 5 days a week. We do a lot of like kind of high level gambling analysis along with doing like daily picks sort of stuff. So like we'll do cards with $100 budget, kind of like what we're doing today. And love it. It's a labor of love. Been doing it for a while.
Yeah, guys, hit the subscribe button on that. It's a show I watch. It's extremely entertaining. These guys know what they're talking about. At some point I might need to plug in my my power cable here. I think I forgot to do that, but this is a little bit of side entertainment for everyone. But what are we doing that's new here today besides hitting the subscribe button on Notorious OTB? Hold on a second. I got a couple quarters. What does that mean?
Trust the Profits presents Mortal Kappers. Round 1. The Formula versus the Wolf of Oaklawn. Fight!
That's right. We're trying out something new here today. We got ourselves not just a crossover, but a killer crossover, if you will, right? We are delving into a new game here, Mortal Kappers. What does that mean? What are the rules for Mortal Kappers? There are no rules.
No rules.
Except for these rules right here.
Oh, yeah.
So when you come on Mortal Kappers, as you just saw on my previous screen, you need an avatar. Provide your own avatar for Mortal Kappers. If you don't, the court will appoint you an avatar, and you possibly don't want that. It's like a court-appointed lawyer where you're not exactly getting the best one.
It should really be my daughter's, because everyone that my daughter does has like a hamster, a beagle, or a teacup puppy doing gymnastics. So like that's the punishment, I think.
That could be your avatar, right? The teacup puppy doing gymnastics, as opposed to some really awesome, fierce-looking robot that you guys are going to get used to in the next few slides. Also, when you go into some of these fantasy wagering events, people talk about the mythical dollar. We don't deal with that. We're dealing with 100 Schrute bucks. What is that?
This is a Schrute buck.
There we go. That's what we're dealing with. Each of us is getting 100 Schrute bucks to start with. You can place any wager across any race within the card that we selected. And we're selecting the card for Fairgrounds this Saturday, including the Louisiana Derby. Oh, yeah. So you can place any wager you want, horizontal, vertical. You can bet it all on one single horse if you want to win, to place, to show. Scratches. We had to figure this part out. If a horse does scratch, you're going to be refunded for that part of the bet. If it's a win, obviously you get refunded the whole part. If it's something like a trifecta, exacta, and you got a whole bunch of horses going across, as long as you can still play part of that, you're going to keep that part, but you get refunded on the part, right? Once we record, the bets are locked in. Our bets are in place right now, so we're not changing at all. The winners, whoever gets the most Schrute bucks at the end of this, including refunds, and the winner gets to post a finishing move. Yeah, that's just a little bit of to the victor goes the spoils at the end of this thing here, right?
I thought of one earlier. I might have been very well medicated for my pain whenever I thought of this, but my finishing move is the bedtime for Bonzo, where like I rock you to sleep in some pajamas and then I lay you in a bed next to a chimp and the chimp just rips your face off.
Oh, nice. Nice. I mean, if you can dream it, Chat GPT can come up with it, right? That's what we're here for.
Scene you want. Yeah.
All right. So let's get started.
Get over here!
Yeah, with race 1. All right, you're going to start to sense a theme here on the side of the formula. The Wolf of Oaklawn, he said, I don't want race 1. I'm going to do this a little bit later. But me, I've got a bit of a theme here. As a lot of people know, I do like to play trifectas, and it could be my downfall. I took a look at this card, and I took a look at previous Oaklawn, sorry, not Oaklawn, you're Oaklawn, previous fairground cards. matched them up to my data model and decided that I would take a couple stabs with two of my top horses and then two plays underneath that I thought gave me some value here. So my two top horses for the first card here, which is a maiden special on turf, 8 furlongs, is Take Note of This and Good Going. So these were my top two plays here. And I'm adding on Masserat for one and Love Song for the other. So the first two plays here going off at 5. Well, morning line of 5-1 and 9-2. Sorry, 10-1 and 5-1. So getting pretty good value already. With Masserat, I'm getting 6-1. Love Song, I'm getting 8-1. And again, these are pulled out of my formula. So not a whole lot of thinking involved here, but essentially saying, playing the odds here. If my formula is able to knock these in place, I just need a couple of these to pan out, and I should be sitting pretty there. Wolf, do you got any opinion on the first race?
Well, I will say that Love Song. I think anytime you can get a Godolphin horse at 8-1, even if
Yeah,
it's 0 for 2 as a maiden, I think that's something that you pretty much have to play. Go Dolphin, because that my Dolphin, as I like to say. So I like the trifecta that you worked in doing with that. Yeah, I'm not a big trifecta box fan. I'll
sure.
always do like part wheels and like more like keyed sort of things where I'll key a horse in first, key a horse in second, or I'll do like two
Yeah,
overlays and a part wheel together. But I do like the way that you're spreading out with it and getting the prices in there. It looks like, I mean, I like it. I think it's a good stab, and I think if you're going to box it in a maiden race.
yeah, yeah. And I'm going to do that plenty more times here. So get used to it. So there you go. That's my first play there. Yeah, I do like, so just a couple notes here. So Good Going, which I got in both of these. Do like the speed figures for the park and for the race. Going to be a little bit of a closer, 8 furlongs on turf. You're going to want that. And then I like the class drop for the 7 as well. Irad Ortiz, Steve Asmussen. So looking to hook those two up and then one of the other two horses. And again, boxed in. So that Love Song, if Love Song's on top, I'm hoping to benefit from that.
Yeah.
So get used to it. Now,
Yep.
here we
Yep.
go. We got race 2. Whole lot of nothing going on there. We're fine with that. We passed up race 2. Race 2 was a maiden with a bunch of firsters, which always scares me a little bit. I mean, you can make some plays, but with 12 races, those are the ones that are easier to pass on, less confidence.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. I've gotten into a habit of just not betting the races where I have the least amount of information. Like if
Right.
no point. What am I doing?
Same goes for the third race. Third race, we still got a whole bunch of nothing going on here. That was fun to watch, wasn't it? Oh yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
time. Race
Yeah.
4, we're both getting into it, and we both have the same horse, at least in part of the bet here. Want to go ahead and tell me about Freedom's Way in race 4?
Yeah, I really like the trip that Freedom's Way should be getting, sitting off the pace behind what it should be a pretty honest pace early. With Freedom's Way, the horse is progressing. It made a step forward off the layoff. I think the horse is going to be probably take another step up, second off the layoff for Eddie Keneally with Sias up. I also can kind of rely on Sias to get this horse in a pretty good forwardly place position. I really liked the Mike Maker horses in here, but I'm on a like steady fade Mike Maker diet because he got popped recently. Like that's for me, like when I just completely pull out of everything. And so
Right.
it left Freedom's Way like looking at his like a pretty good horse if he's got some Mike Maker possible pretenders around him. So
Oh yeah.
it was that or either like the other Michael Stidham that took like a huge step forward and is coming off of the synthetic because it's a huge angle for me. But
Yeah.
no, I thought Freedom's Way got a great stocking trip and got the setup. So I went there and I tried to bang it for 20.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to go. Obviously seeing a jockey upgrade there. My own homegrown speed figures have this horse as the third one in terms of overall average speed figures. I also do look at BreezeNet and I take a look at how they do at the park and then for the distance on the surface. Grades out top at the park and a very close second for the surface and distance. So obviously a very strong horse. I had it in my first box here. And again, I'm doing two 50-cent trifecta boxes, $3 each. So $6 total, just like the first race. So yeah, I've got the 7 in there. And one of them, the two that I'm really leaning on, Le Gris, the 2 horse there. I'm seeing that this horse got closer to the pace, which is something that I often look for, especially in maiden races. This isn't a maiden race, but sometimes it's a good indicator. Also, a significant class drop for this horse as well. And you're getting, like I said, 9-2 on it, 2 times win, 5 times in the money. Not really sure where this one's going to sit off the pace. Average wise, I have it sitting further back off the pace. I think that's in the higher stakes races, but has also been a pace leader in the past. So you might see whatever the jockey and trainer want to do with this one. Rosario on the mount there. And then the 10 got a nice grade for me, especially at 10-1. F35. This one I've got is having a bit of a closing ability, which at 8.5 furlongs on turf, definitely hope to see. Also finishes very close to the front. You'll get that for a horse that wins 4 wins out of its last 10, 6 times in the money. Yeah, like going to be a bit of a closer, but this is the distance you want to use a closer at. Florent Giraud, I'm a little scared. Everything sounds good. Florent Giraud. Flojo.
French Strangler. Right. When he's not with Brad Cox, when it's not the Flo Cox, then it's like, I don't know.
I know. You need the Flo Cox.
Yeah.
Let's move on to race 5. We both have a lot of color going on here, and I can't wait for you to talk through yours. There's very good potential that we could both hit this thing in different ways. So let's hear it.
Yeah, it's completely true. So, I did, Barry and I did our show a little bit earlier where we did the $100 budget thing. And so, I had to rethink how I did my bets here because, the previous race I did the win bet, which on our show I did it as a daily double, playing into the 3 horses that I liked here, which are who I have in second place there: the 4 Margie's Intention, the 7 Warriors Justice, and the 8 Canal Street. And so the way I was going to play it was double into it and then hit this trifecta with my 2 overlays on top. And then if I can, hit it 7, 8, and I don't hit the 3rd place horse, then I'm going to jump off of a bridge somewhere, holding weights from a home weight bench. It would kill me if I could hit that, because those are 2 15, 10-1 horses on the money line, on the morning line. And I mean, Margie's Intention might win, but I think there's something to these outside horses on the turf at fairgrounds right now. So I think that Warriors Justice and Canal Street are in better position to win than Margie's Intention.
Yeah. So the angle I took is similar, but I did take Margie's Intention and Secret Faith as 2 horses that I'm extremely interested in here. I had to toss one of the chalk, right? I'm looking at Secret Faith and Blue Fire, and they're both sub 2 morning line, which I hate. Obviously, you got to throw Blue Fire in there for the underneath. I get it, because you might do it. But so I graded them out. I did have Secret Faith a little bit higher, and then I did have Margie's Intention, thank goodness, as my number 2. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have played this one at all. And then I do like the race times, especially on Secret Faith. Like them on Blue Fire too, but in order to make money, I had to leave them off. Warriors Justice, doing something for me in terms of jockey trainer sire combo. You get Walsh, Ben Curtis coming from Justify. Love to see that. And I do like what I see from Canal Street, not just the name playing at fairgrounds, because that is one of the big streets in New Orleans. Got some closing ability at 8.3 furlongs. I'll estimate that out to. And another horse that's been getting a little bit closer to the pace. Definitely a horse that could pop here. There we go. Yeah. We could both hit this in different ways.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, it helps that I threw in literally, I think, everyone but the 6, right? Yeah, everyone but the 6. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's 6. Well, the 6 is going to clunk in for 3rd place. Now it's going to go 7, 8, 6.
Should we talk about the 6 at all? Graceful Star. That's going to be a memorable one if that does hit anywhere in the top 3. I mean,
I mean, there's so much pace. I think Graceful
pace
Star.
Heavy.
Yeah, I think that Graceful Star might actually play a factor in this race, but not hit the board play a factor. I think that horse is going to help soften up the 2 favorites who are going to be softening up each other. So I could see both of those fading.
I have Graceful Star as being, of the pace horses, the heaviest fader of the group. So that should make you happy. Yeah, my numbers have it as a heavy fade. All right, moving on to race 6. Just me. So I had $6 to throw around, and I was like, what race can I get a little bit of value on? for a horse that I've got rated as one of my top horses with potential to win. And also, this was a weird race too because we've got four also eligible horses, and one of them graded out very high for me in 9 part. I'm like, well, how do I work that in? Because I don't want to put the horse on, get it scratched, and then come back and be like, oh, well, I got to remove that bet. So the way I did this is I took a $1 exacta box and I just boxed in 4 horses, which comes out to $12. If he doesn't pull in, if you don't see 9 part, obviously that's going to drop to $6, and I'm going to play the 4, the 5, and the 9. All horses that I really like here. You're getting some extreme value out of the 5 here at 12-1. Yeah, this is a horse that's getting a nice little jockey upgrade. It's got 3 wins in 10 races. Going to be one of the pace pushers, and you're going to see some pretty heavy pace in this race, but it's also 5.5 on turf. So it's what you expect. Go Sugar graded out very well for me. Like the race times. Last race I have is grading out as being the best. This horse is always really close in terms of where it finishes with consideration to the winner. And yeah, that's what I put $6 on. Morning line of 9-2 on that one, I believe. My mouse just did something funky on me there. Yeah. And then the last horse I'm throwing in is Brian's Iron Mike. So really hoping I get the 5 in here because Brian's Iron Mike at 7-2, not giving me the most extreme value, but did seem to sit pretty well in here. Maybe gives you a little bit of a close out in the end. And I'm just going for the exacta. 9 part, if I get him in, 8-1, I'll take that. I had him grade out very nicely.
Yeah. These are the kind of races that I've vowed like not to try to handicap like ahead of time because like of the field, I have like 3 or 4 horses that don't have like a firm turf figure to look at. So I don't have anything to go off there. And then with the variability of like who can actually enter with the also eligibles, like does it inject more speed? Does it take speed out? You know, what happens?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those like I'll just wait till the day of and figure it out sort of things.
In like 3 or 4 races, 3 races, I think we got another one to talk about that's going to be interesting in that matter too. I think you know where I'm talking to.
Yeah, I think so.
Race 7, just me. Ooh, a little bit of Dapper Moon here, horse that got a cup of coffee on the Derby Trail. I'm going with in this race, so we're talking 8.5 furlongs on dirt, and this is what the Crescent City Derby. Yeah, so I've got Passive Nobody at 12-1 as one of my top horses here. Graded out very nicely for me. This is going to be his 3rd race. Went gate to wire once. Again, I'm hoping to get a nice little number here from him. Sipping on Gin, probably my safest play of this group, at least in my top 2. Got a nice little closing figure there. Of a 4 of a closing number, getting closer to the pace as well. Medium lengths, this horse always seems to be right there. 2 wins in 3 races. Yeah, so I've got Sippin' Gin there, and then Classic Time and Dapper Moon. I did like Dapper Moon for a little while in the Derby Trail, so I'm very happy to put him in here, even if it's not a great number at 7-2. Classic Time at 8-1 is rounding out the group for me. Any thoughts on the Crescent City Derby?
I only really looked at it from like a horizontal perspective. Like I thought about kicking off like what at a buck would have been a $15 like pick 3 here that used Classic Time. The 9 I like quite a bit, Cajun Matoli.
Yeah, I was looking at him.
And then I really liked the 11 Hey Jude as a big price. But these are all kind of like use horizontal, same kind of run style sort of horses. Like I wouldn't build like a vertical bet off of them because you need to mix up your run styles in those.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking a bit of a risk here. Obviously, I'm going with like a spread wide plan. Obviously, there's different systems and strategies to use here at Mortal Kappers, going 1-on-1 here in a competition. So we are both feeling it out.
Yeah.
Moving on to, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say like an example of like I went with the win bet instead of the daily double in race 4. Why? Because like if we're playing in a tournament, like I don't want to get the first half of that and then not get, the second half of it. Like I wanted when I worked at the liquor store, my old boss used to tell me, step 1, get the money. Like, here we go. Like, that's what we do. So that's why I just like the straight win bet. I had to really kind of change how I thought.
Awesome. All right. So here we are at racing. Oh yeah. Getting a little bit of Street Fighter in there as well. I went for another trifecta box here, Distorted Doro and Stir Crazy, along with A Way to Be Marie. and Eastern Empress. Again, I am risking the scratches here on this one, but getting a little bit close. Distorted de Oro, again, graded out pretty nicely for me here, along with Stir Crazy. We are going 8.5 furlongs on turf, and we got a couple little nice closers in there, I'm hoping for at least. And then Way to Be Marie and Eastern Empress. Um, and Eastern Empress giving me a little bit of a close there. Really like that the race times that I've been seeing from this horse as well. DeBowie, always a nice sire. Way to Be Marie. Yeah, like the last race that she was in as well. 8 times out of 10 in the money. So hoping that happens again here. All right, moving on. This is the one that I think is the most interesting to talk about. Yeah, let me give us a nice little drop for this one. Oh, look at that. All right, so
There
this
we go.
is yeah, definitely a race that you guys are going to recognize some horses from. This race is intriguing because we do have the BC Classic champion in this race, Sierra Leone, which probably makes a lot of people think, let's load up on him. Was he sitting at
Mhm.
5 right now, morning line, with 10
I want
horses?
to say that's yeah. Yeah, that's right. I want to say 7 to 5.
Yeah, he's sitting there with 10 horses in. But as we saw posted on Twitter yesterday, there's a whole mess of horses that are probably going to scratch out of this race, at least 3 or 4. The other thing to note about this race is after you look past him, maybe one other horse in here, Uno Mas Bourbon at 30 to 1. The rest of them are either stalkers or pace horses, which sets up okay for Sierra Leone. But we also know Sierra Leone to be, and I'm jumping ahead here to my own narrative. I'm curious to hear yours. It sets up to hear the story of the Sierra Leone that we knew before the BC Classic, which is the horse that loves to get there for second place. Loves second place. It was such a comforting feel for him, maybe even third place. Getting in first, that's scary territory for someone like Sierra Leone, right? He won like twice last year, but we're just used to him seeing him miss it.
Yeah.
So that's why I took a chunk of money and I said, I feel pretty confident that Sierra Leone, even though it's not going to pay out handsomely, but if we get a horse like your horse on top, that place pool might get a little bit chummier. I should get my 30 back plus something. We'll see how it goes. If he does finish second and that place pool looks pretty stout, maybe I get a better return here. It's a very tournament wise, it's a safety play, like you were saying before. $30 to place on Sierra Leone. And I think you had a similar idea. You just took the flip side of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been on Komorobino Amoidi so long that I don't have to look up how to spell Komorobino Amoidi. I know that it
Ah.
means was it great? Oh my god, I looked it up earlier. The something about dappled at sunset is what it means in Japanese.
Oh,
I
arigato gozaimasu.
man, this horse has punched above its weight class 2 races in a row. It wasn't
Nice.
supposed to hit the board in the race 2 back against Hit Show. Skinner was in that race. That was a loaded field, ran a really
Yeah.
good second, lost by a length and a half. Comes back at 14 to 1 and misses by, I can tell you, like I examined this photo very, very close. Not much from beating, a Hit Show and this horse is just building and building to
Yeah.
a new level. And I think I get the better of Sierra Leone. The reason being that was a really long, arduous kind of path that Sierra Leone took from the preps all straight through to the BC. Like that
Yep.
was a lot of running for a 3-year-old. Like
Lot
even
of
when
distance.
Tyson got out of prison, he fought Peter McNeely first. Like it would be nice to have like a tune-up. And Sierra Leone, is in a loaded field with horses that are like really fresh and really in form. And I just think that it's the most talented horse in the field, but like I think this is probably the opportunity to beat it. It's kind of like Torpedo Anna last week. Like,
Okay.
it was the best opportunity to beat her against other girls for like, that's going to happen for forever. And she still busted that field. But, you kind of get what I'm saying there.
Yeah. Different running styles, though. We're used to seeing Sierra Leone sit way back early on, and then all of a sudden there's a pack of horses, and who's who's got the rocket launcher from Bugs Bunny on his back. It's Sierra Leone. It's just, can he get there in time? That's always the question. So yeah,
This is what
and
I'm
even if he
gonna
gets
be
first, I get something paid to me, so that's nice.
what I'm really gonna be interested to see is the head-on replay of Sierra Leone after this race, because
Mm,
on the
okay,
Derby trail, you could tell, like, it wasn't like he was staggering, but you could tell he was tired. It was like he always needed a horse to kind of lean on in the stretch, like the rest of the
like
way.
Belknap.
And I think he just kind of built, grew physically as a 3-year-old. And it's because
Yeah,
when you watch the Breeders' Cup, he ran straight as an arrow. Like he just really kind of like not necessarily figured it out, or just kind of like hit that level of conditioning. So I don't know what to expect from him at all.
interesting. Yeah. All right, that will be an interesting play. If we both hit, you were going to be the better of the two. I'll tell you that right now. So I took low risk here. Moving on. Oh, I'm doing my thing again with my trifecta boxes. It's probably getting boring for a lot of people out there right now, but I do have redistricting and Spirit of St. Louis in this 9 furlong turf race, Muniz Memorial. They are boxed in here with Cameo Performance and What Say Thee. Again, I'm going purely off of my formulas here and hoping that this strategy works out. Redistricting, though, redistricting and Spirit of St. Louis, I've got him as having the highest jockey trainer sire combo. Little stat that I kind of came up with to just really assess all the things outside of the horse, more or less. They both have good closing ability. I really like the last race, the win of Spirit of St. Louis. I have that as one of the top wins of this group. And then, yeah, last race and overall racing times for redistricting, my normalized race times grade out really well for him. On top of that, if I look to the left, both Cameo Performance and What They Say at 20-1 and 10-1. They are my number 2 and 3 in terms of overall racing times normalized. And Cameo Performance I have is having the second best last race. Also, really good indicators for me usually to say, okay, this is one that I can pick out of the crowd and say, getting good value here. And at 20-1, if this horse hits the board here, I'll be very happy with that. Also, a drop in class. I'm not sure how Cameo Performance, based on my numbers, is 20-1, but I'm not setting the lines either.
I'm interested to hear what your numbers say on the 10 Dancing in Denial and the 12 Higgins boat.
Okay, so the 12 Higgins boat. Okay, I'll go Dancing in Denial first. Light in terms of being a closer, sits off the pace about 3 tiers. That probably works out to about 4 to 5, maybe 6 lengths. But pretty decent in terms of speed figures. For the distance, actually has pretty good speed figures, but hasn't raced at the park at least within the last 10 races. And you're saying the 12 Higgins boat at 15-1. I don't have a
Mhm.
lot there. Oh, median lengths to win is within -1, meaning that this horse won 10 times in the 3 times in the last 10, 8 times in the money. Essentially means that this horse is often not even on average, but median close to the win. So right there on the doorstep, that's another indicator that I often look at. But in this race, there's actually a ton of horses that fit that bill, even at 9 furlongs. But it's turf, so that happens more often than not. Also, a horse that is used to sitting 1 to 2 lengths off the pace, sometimes the pace setter. So probably going to be one that applies pressure. What did you have in mind for those two?
Because for one, they were the two horses because I looked back through, I want to say 3 or 4 days of results, and it
Yeah,
was just all outside posts at fairgrounds. And so
nice.
those were the two widest horses that I really liked. I thought Higgins' boat was a little bit pace compromised, but it's been dry down there. If he catches like a dry kind of durfy kind of,
Yeah,
surface, that I think Higgins' boat could maybe sneak away on a good path. And that's kind of also the same thing with Dancing in Denial. I want to say I probably projected that horse about 2.5 off the lead. I'm always skeptical of Woodbine figures, though. So I
oh,
only really
sure.
had the 92 to go off of, because, why throw out good and troubled trips and everything? There's only one figure left.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's fairgrounds and someone named Cox is training the horse. So that's got to be good, right? Even if
yeah.
it's the Gale Cox.
Yeah, for the 10, I do have speed figures separated out between Tapeta and Turf. and they're slightly better on turf than they are in tappeta. So if you want to take out the woodbine, still grades out fairly well.
All right. Okay.
All right. Yeah. We got some opinions out there. Race 11. Ooh. All right. We're doing something interesting here. That's right. We got ourselves a little horizontal play here from the Wolf. Do tell.
Yeah. This would be my coup de grace by a mile. I think.
Sure.
I'm very much of the take limited swings and try to step on necks kind of play, where if I get you one time, that might be enough. And with good cheer, like this, I think this is a good play still. Like there's not going to be any value in the win bet with good cheer. Odds are that the verticals with good cheer on top just murders any sort of like exacta payout or anything, because it's a fairly short field. So I think the best way to make use of a horse that feels like a I don't say lock. I feel like lock is a bad word to use, but feels like a free square.
High percentage play.
I think that's the place where you single, and then I'm on naturally 2 longer prices in the Louisiana Derby. So I think, I get the free square, and then I just take my shot with what is essentially 2 win bets with Tistastic and Caldera.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. And you did that as a $20 daily double. So the total cost on that is $40.
Right there. Just,
Yeah. What else do we have here? I mean, I can drop in. What haven't we seen? No, not that one. Not that one. I've got one in here. Here it is. Got a Hadouken. That's pretty good.
Got a Hadouken.
Killer combo though from Killer Instinct. That was the big one for you there.
You remember the level where you just beat up a car? It was great.
I almost brought that in, and I just completely forgot it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm playing good cheer as well. How can you not? I even toyed with the notion of putting good cheer on top, but I thought, that's not fun. What if there's an upset here? So I do want to keep boxing some of these horses in, because I'm getting good prices on Ahava, Her Laugh, and Girl Math, which is a bit of a tongue twister. But like you, when I look at good cheer, this does feel like the safest single of the day. It feels like probably one that I should look at, but I've looked at horses like that before, and then they end up, knocking you on off your feet. 5 wins in 5 attempts. But I do have, when I look at race times, like I looked at these normalized race times, came in second to Her Laugh, actually. So I'm curious about that. Her Laugh has 3 races to her credit, right? But maybe there's an upset here. So I thought, all right, especially that top trifecta I have here. Well, that's the chink in the armor here, is that one little stat that I have there where I've got that horse on top. And then I've got Ahava is very close in terms of race times to good cheer. And I've got Ahava as being the definite pace setter here and having a little bit of a pace advantage, but really should get pressured by the 2 and the 8. So maybe not a huge pace advantage. Those 2 might be nipping at her tail there. All right, moving on. We've got the last race here. You already know what the Wolf is doing here. He likes the 3 and the 5. I've been a Tistastic promoter for a while, and I keep waiting for Tistastic to sort of show something. And when it comes to the Derby Trail, I've got like about a 2 race limit. And so when I did my full field rundown, John Hancock, for me, I know people want to get on top of the Tampa Bay races and say, no, those are crap. Surface this, surface that, or it's Tampa Bay. It was a weak field, and I get shit all the time for it. Pardon my French. But I do feel that the race that horse put together, the time that it put together, one of the things I look at is time comparable to track record and how close horses get to that. And he got pretty close, even with Owen Almighty chomping at the bit there. Both of them got very close. So I've been impressed with both horses. That's why I've got John Hancock as my key. He gives me absolutely 0 value in this race, most likely, but there might be other horses that do get bet down. There's a Todd Pletcher horse in here. Built has some fanfare. I like Built, Caldera, a lot of people on the Caldera train, which tells me, okay, maybe keying him on top should be safe. And then I load up below, right? So I've got John Hancock as being my winner here. Not looking for value there, but Built, Instant Replay, Tistastic, Vasimo, Caldera. I know there's horses I left out, but I had to stop somewhere.
So something else I noticed when I was looking through the results was when you look at the 2-turn dirt results, right now the inside is hot as can be. So
Yeah.
if that still continues on Saturday, then I want also all of that 50-cent trifecta key box. I think that's a great play.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then I mean, still you're in a key box fashion. John Hancock's should be around in the end. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, John Hancock has to be on top for this one for me to work.
Oh, so it's the straight up key? Okay, not a key box.
It's a straight up key. It's not a key box. This is
Okay,
yeah.
cool,
If
cool,
I were
cool.
to do this as a key box, I think the price would end up being $18, maybe more. Oh no,
Yeah.
it'd be more because I've got those two at the bottom there. So this is just a key.
Okay.
So there you have it. So taking a look at how we spent, you loaded up on 4 races. I think I got the math right on that. And I loaded up on nearly every race, hoping that I get, death by 1,000 cuts on you. So
Yeah.
that is how it all adds up. So there you have it. This was the first edition of Mortal Kappers. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time. Well, thank you for joining, by the way,
Yeah.
for the first one.
Yeah.
I appreciate you jumping in, embracing the idea here. We'll see how it pans out, see how many hits we get. And at the very least, I think we both had a good time.
I was planning on just really trash talking you like a lot. And I literally just forgot. I completely forgot to trash talk. So yeah, we'll see how this goes.
We got a few minutes left if you want to get some in.
Again,
You try.
your mother raised a non-polite boy.
There we go. That's the final uppercut right there. Wolf of Oaklawn, thank you for joining. I am the Formula, and we are